It's a sauerkraut kind of night. I've got my cabbage. My husband wants it with garlic, so we're going to make sauerkraut with garlic tonight. And I'm also going to do my milk kefir as per the usual. So the first step to making sauerkraut is just peeling the outer leaves off if they're yucky or moldy. These are going to go to the chickens. They love cabbage. So that will make them very happy. See, there's like black stuff on here. So we're just going to peel off the outer layers until we get to some nice, clean looking cabbage. There we go. That looks better. Hi, everybody. Say hi. Tell me where you're from. I'm just dropping cabbage all over the floor. Let me put these. I am live. You can have some salted cabbage. Once it's salted, you can beat it out of my video. Thank you. All right. You're going to sit right here. So, to make the sauerkraut, I like to cut around the core. So the core is the stub in the middle, and I just cut down the sides. Just like that. There we go. Hey, Margaret. Oh, from Ohio. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Margaret. Have you ever made sauerkraut before? It's pretty easy. Those are going to go to the chickens. I'm going to pop this chicken into the oven real quick. Not the chicken I'm feeding it to. And we're going to set a timer for at least an hour. So we'll set in a timer for an hour, and I will check its temperature in a little bit. Hey! Hey, Casey from Springfield. I have friends that live in Missouri. I want to live in Missouri. You haven't. My daughter and I have been talking about trying it. You should. It's so easy. Hey, Miss Lopez. So I just cut around the core, and it leaves me with chunks like this. And I will cut these other pieces into similar sized chunks. Just like that. This leaf is kind of gross looking, so I'm going to peel this leaf off of here. And then I just go the opposite direction and cut it into ribbons. So it doesn't have to be crazy precise. Just into little ribbons, like shredding it with the knife. You can definitely do this in a food processor if you want. It does make a lot finer of shredded cabbage, which will ferment faster. Hey, hey, beachy girl. So slicing it a little thicker will let it ferment for longer without breaking down so much. I personally like my sauerkraut fermented for about 2 weeks. That's the sweet spot for me. Okay. There we go. Just get them into nice, whatever size is like a good bite-sized piece for you. So I like that. Not too crazy big, not too small. The smaller you make them, the faster it breaks down. So I have a scale, just a cheapy digital scale. You just want it to be able to read in grams in a nice big bowl. You want a big bowl because you're going to put a lot of lettuce and cabbage in here, and you're going to want to be able to work it and massage the salt into it. So a big bowl is ideal. And then you put the bowl on the scale and you hit tare. And so that'll make the scale read 0. So we're just catching the weight of the cabbage and not of the bowl anymore. So this is going to go into my bowl. We need to have the weight of the cabbage so that we can calculate. You ate your dinner?
Yes.
Yes, you can. All right. We're going to do a percentage of the weight of the cabbage. So 3% of the cabbage is what we're going for. And that's how much salt we will add. And that's going to draw all of the water out of the cabbage and create a nice brine for us. Last week I made, was it 2 weeks ago? I made some sauerkraut with onions in it. My husband said it's all right, but he wanted to try it with garlic. So this batch I'm doing garlic only. So I think that'll be yummy too. We're almost out of that last batch, so I need to get this one going because it does take 2 weeks. So it's kind of important when you start making your own sauerkraut and eating it every day to make sure that you're keeping up on it. Starting a new batch every week or every 2 weeks. When you open one, start a new batch. Something like that. So you always have some that's going to be ready to eat. So for the garlic, I'm just going to smash it. And I think I'm going to crush it so that it kind of disperses into my cabbage really well. Just cut the little hard ends off here. This garlic had a bunch of yuckiness on it, so I ended up throwing away like half of it away. That's kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Give this a nice pound. How was everybody's weekend? Happy Monday. Did you do anything fun? It's a full moon tonight. You guys know that? Do you feel the full moon? Does it like affect your mood? Do you notice at all? I definitely feel it. I was really tired yesterday, and there's an eclipse coming tonight too. Apparently there's a lunar eclipse, so that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what time that's going to happen. All right. A lot of interesting astrological stuff going on currently. All right. I don't know how much more garlic I want to put in there. Probably the whole head. I don't know. He likes pretty garlicky stuff. I'm sure a whole head would be fine. So I'm just going to throw the garlic into my bowl with the cabbage. You want to make sure that your scale doesn't fall asleep on you and lose the weight of the cabbage. So pushing down on it periodically can help stop that from happening. I'm just going to crush up a couple more cloves here and add those in. I've got a few more. That should be plenty. It's windy and cold again today in Florida. Boo! Daylight savings messed you up. Yeah, daylight savings messed me up too. I was so exhausted yesterday. And you would think like, oh, spring forward, you would stay up later than usual. But 9 o'clock rolled around and I was ready for bed. And like, this is 8 o'clock normal time. I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Good evening, Carrie. Good to see you. Yeah, it was really nice here today in Colorado. The weather was really nice. I got to spend some time sitting outside. We had to go run some errands. I had to go to the bank. I try not to go to the bank that often. Yay, your Milk Keeper grains got set out. Yay, that's exciting. You'll be doing the thing. They're my favorite thing ever. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. I'm always telling everybody about it. Okay, my fingers are really sticky. Hold on one sec. All right, let me put these over here. I've got a chicken in the oven for dinner. I think that's going to be tasty. I haven't made chicken in like a week, so it's time. All right, got my little rocking crusher here. I love this. This garlic crusher is my favorite. You really have to like press down on it, but it works so good. And I can crush like 10 cloves of garlic and it just keeps pushing them out through the top, which is awesome. Isn't that nifty? I love that thing. Such a nice tool. My mom was like, you have to push too hard. Like, it's not that big of a deal, Mother. I think it's great. I like it better than the hand squeezing version. Do you have a garlic press or do you just chop it? I get annoyed trying to chop. I bought whole milk, but I'm hoping it would help with weight loss. Do you recommend low-fat milk or something? Whole milk is amazing. Whole milk is the best bet. It's going to make the happiest kefir grains. It's going to give you the most satiety from drinking it. Yeah, you got a garlic roller? I love this thing. This is a great tool. So nifty. I definitely recommend whole milk for milk kefir. Okay, so I have 1,255 grams, 1255. So to find 3% of the weight, we're going to multiply that by 0.03. So we need 37 grams of salt. So to do that, we're going to tare the scale. And I have my favorite salt for fermenting is Malden's. It dissolves completely. There's no like rocks left behind. Like Redmond's salt leaves rocks behind. I don't love that. So let's see. I think it's going to be 3.5 tablespoons, maybe 4. 3.5 tablespoons for 36 grams. All right, now we just work it. So you get in there with your clean hands and just massage the salt into the cabbage. Now this is breaking down the cell wall and releasing the water. I buy that salt on Amazon. Oop, snap, I just dropped a bunch of salted cabbage on the floor. I buy it by the big bucket because I use it for everything. It's my favorite salt. My dog was like, did someone say cabbage and floor? All right. So you just kind of squeeze it. This is a great stress reliever. Just working that cabbage. And I'm going to end up putting this into a 1/2 gallon sized jar because we eat a fair bit. My husband will eat like 2 cups of sauerkraut. After his dinner, he'll eat his dinner and then he'll have a big bowl of sauerkraut. So I have to keep it in rotation. So every time I go to Natural Grocers, I will buy a new cabbage because I know that I'm going to need to start my next batch of sauerkraut imminently. It's already starting to break down and release its water here. There's a lot of water in cabbage. Like, you don't realize that it is like mostly water until you make sauerkraut. It is very, very watery. It's kind of cold on my fingers. Brr. All right. I had a nice chat today with a distant family member. She is my husband's aunt. So my kid's great aunt. She reached out to me because she wants to start getting healthy. So I'm super pumped to start working with her and teaching her all the things. It's exciting when people in your family reach out and like or have an interest in what you're doing. It's definitely very gratifying. Hi, puppy dog. What you doing? You don't want this. You don't want this yet. It's so exciting. When she messaged me on Facebook a while back and was like, I want to follow your blog. What's your blog? I don't actually have a blog. I was like, I'm writing a book. I don't know. I post on Instagram. You follow me on Instagram. But I started posting on YouTube. So she's been watching my replays on YouTube. Casey, I don't have a storefront. I like to send out, I'll just send you links. So if you have something specific that you want a link to, you can DM me and I can just grab you the link. We all need a Vanessa in the family. You have a Vanessa in the family. I consider everybody who hangs out with me on the live streams part of my family. Celtic sea salt and cabbage right now. What's the scale called? This is just a cheap scale. Look for a digital scale that weighs down to 0.1 grams. That's what I would do. Hey, from the outback of Australia, right on. That's so cool. I have some friends who live in Tasmania. Yeah, Celtic salt is totally fine. I know. They don't want me yet. I wish I could have a storefront, but they don't want me yet. They say I'm too small potatoes for a storefront. So, I don't know. I haven't applied for a while. I might have to apply again. I applied a while back and they were like, no, not till you have 10,000 followers. So, but that's okay. I'm so fast at pulling links, you guys. And I'm an affiliate. I just don't have a storefront. So I'll get like 1% to 5% on whatever you guys buy from my links, but it's not like the curated storefront. They offered you one? What the heck? Where's the milk? In the fridge. Behind the not milk. Just move something aside. Okay, this is breaking down really well. You can see that it's like, when I squeeze it, water comes out of it. That's how juicy cabbage is. So it makes its own brine. You don't have to add extra water, although you can add extra water if you make a 3% brine. Like, we really love cabbage juice. We love it. So a lot of times, no, my hands are covered. I cannot. Sorry. I am very cabbagey right now. 1 head of cabbage will definitely make 2 quart-sized jars. I'll show you guys here. I'm going to pack this jar, and you'll see I might have a jar and a half with the half-gallon size jar. Let me grab, I'm going to rinse my hands real quick. Let me grab my pounder. This is called a kraut pounder. And I love mason jar funnels. My kids do the same thing. See, your hands are completely full, but they'll, yeah. Can you open this? Can you hold it? Yeah, exactly. It's a whole thing. Hey, Shirley. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to load this cabbage and garlic into my big jar here. I'm going to scoot this over so you guys can see. And then with the kraut pounder, you just get in there and press it. How long does the cabbage juice last? A really long time, because it's preserved with the fermentation process. So say you ate all of the kraut out of it and you just have the juice left, it'll keep in the refrigerator for like a year. Like a really, really, really long time. But we drink it. We love it. That's our go-to thing for like stomach bugs. Anytime someone has an upset tummy, we are on the fermented veggie juice. So I like to have extra on hand, especially during the cold and flu and sickness season. It's amazing for all tummy illnesses. So you just press it down to release the juice. These things are super helpful. You don't have to have one, but they're really nice. And this is a half-gallon jar. It's pretty big. It holds 8 cups. You just do layers and pack and layer and pack. Yes. They had chicken wings for dinner. Now I'm making a whole chicken for hubby and I for dinner. That's already in the oven. Go. Wear my glasses tonight. It's not dark yet, so probably 10 more minutes, and then I'll need them. I leave them off until it gets dark out. Time change and all that. All right. How do you store all of your jars and your lids? Does anyone have any great ideas for me, especially the lids? So in my house, I have little baskets. Like, I'll show you. It's not organized. It's not organized, but it's just like a little basket. And then I usually, when I'm being good, I'll line them up carefully in there. But currently, they are not organized. I'm going to have to get in there and deal with those now that I've pulled those out. That's okay. Yeah, you are ahead of us. It's about to be 7 here. Yes. And then for canning rings, I actually don't do paper towels anymore. So the paper towel thing that's under the cabinet, I put my canning rings on that. How long does kraut take to ferment? I like my kraut fermented for 2 weeks is my preferred amount of time. But you can leave it for months if you want to. I have let kraut sit for several months and it just gets more complex. Another good way to store rings, if you have wire hangers, like old crappy bendable wire hangers, you can open up the part that's like twirled, just detach it and put the rings on that and then like hook it back on there. I do that with some of them too. And then you can like hook it onto your cabinet door, which is nice. Okay, I think this is all going to fit in this one jar. And it's going to fit so well that I can't use my spring. I think it's going to be too low, which is okay. Yeah. So that works good. And then they're all kind of contained too, which is nice. All right. That's the last of my cabbage. Pop that in there. It smells good. It smells very garlicky, which is awesome. That's what he asked for. Okay. All right, I'm going to rinse my hands again. I do a fair bit of canning in the summer months too, so I have a ton of canning rings floating around because every time you buy a box of jars, you get new rings. And so there's about 100, maybe 200 of them floating around my house at any given time. I even use them. I have one of those baskets that doesn't fit. I had to swap it out. I have a bunch of canning lids in that, and when my dogs go and bark at the fence, I take it outside and I shake it and go, rattle, rattle, and it like snaps them out of the fence barking. Yeah, creative uses for canning rings. Okay. So you can see the brine is starting to come over the cabbage a little bit. Hey, Nene. I'm just going to keep jamming it in there, trying to push any extra down. And since this isn't all the way full, I'm going to add some more brine to it because I do want the extra brine. I know, my dogs are a hot mess. Just came in to the live what's in your kraut mix. This is just cabbage and garlic tonight. Cabbage and garlic. Last time I did cabbage and onion, and my husband said, I think I want to try cabbage and garlic next. So I said, okay, I can do that. All right, that is all liquid from the cabbage. You just made a batch of kraut on Friday. Nice. Heck yeah, lady. That's super exciting. Okay, my dog wants to go outside. Hold on. Hi, you need to go outside? Don't you go out there barking at the neighbors. I will fight you. I'm coming back in? I'm not going out there with you. No? Okay. All right, I'm going to make some brine. Do I have a... I need a jar. Oh, there's definitely salt. There's definitely salt. Yes, there is salt. Sorry. No, absolutely. You have to have salt. So to make extra brine, it is 2 tablespoons of salt into 1 quart of purified water. So I'm going to fill this up with water. So I'll make this extra brine to top it off so we have extra kraut juice. So I'll just put the lid on here. Sorry, I thought she was just asking which vegetables. There's always salt. If I'm fermenting something, every one of them has salt. Okay. See how easy that dissolves? This is why I like Malden so much, because it dissolves almost instantly. Some of those other salts do not dissolve well. Okay, so I'm going to carefully pour this in here to try not to float too much of my cabbage. Yeah, so my cabbage, or all of my ferments, I make them with a 3% salt brine. And so when you're adding extra water to it, even though I've already salted the cabbage, I want to make sure that I'm also salting the water, because that's going to keep it at that 3%. That's a nice, safe, low pH that'll stop bad microbes from growing and allow the good microbes to grow. I could put a little bit more in there. I want it to be pretty full because I like a lot of brine. Pouring it down the kraut pounder really helped a lot to not disturb the cabbage too much. There's still some floaters. Now you can fish those floaters out if you want. I normally don't, but I think I'm going to, just because there's only a couple of them. They're yummy. They're just salty cabbage. So I definitely recommend eating them. My kids like to come in here and steal the salty cabbage. Okay, since this is not that full, I'm not sure how effective this spring's going to be. It'll at least hold it down. We're going to go for it. So I have this fermenting spring. It's stainless steel, so it won't rust. And you just push that, put that into the jar. If it was a little fuller, it would push those vegetables down and keep them tightly packed. But since it's not that full, it's just going to keep them from pushing up. Sometimes when they ferment, they will rise. They'll push to the top. And this is a cool fermenting lid. It is also stainless steel. And it has this little silicone ring circle on the top. So that lets the air vent out of it without letting anything get in. And it has a really nice, thick silicone band on it. This is by far my most favorite fermenting set. And I have tried so many fermenting tools. These are my favorite. The spring and the lid, so fantastic. So that's it for that guy. I'm going to write the date on the lid. And there we go. So I just have this nifty little wax marker is what they call it. So if you do a search on Amazon, it's called a wax marker. And it writes on these lids really well. So today is 3/10. This will be ready in roughly 2 weeks. So I will set this on my little fermenting station, and it's just on full display for anyone who walks into the house to see what I've got going on. You just want to keep it out of direct sunlight, and that's really it. It doesn't have to be in any special spot. Let's check in on some other stuff I made. Do you get your lids and springs from Amazon too? Yes, they're from Amazon. If you want the link to those, I can grab them for you. They're like on the top of my list, so they're easy to grab. So these are the carrots I made the other day. Look how, can you see the bubbles? It's really bubbly. The date got rubbed off of here. It was last week. I think it was last Monday. They're probably ready. Grab one. The spring is really nice for round stuff because it holds them down under the water. These still have a nice crunch, but they're done. So at this point, I can remove the spring and put a regular lid on it and pop it into the refrigerator, and they're ready to go. Delish. I also did some pickles last week. These are just the little cocktail cucumbers from Costco. And I put a bay leaf in here. And I put some dill. And I think I put mustard seed. Or maybe not. I think I just did dill. So you put the bay leaf in there for the tannins, and that's supposed to help keep them crisp. It's soft, but it still has some crunch. This one was made, the date's not on there. I don't know what day it was made. Last week sometime. So the longer they ferment, the softer, more tender they will get. You're right. Do you want a cucumber? No. A pickle? These are actually perfect. I tried one last night, and it's even better today. So these are going to go in the fridge too. I'm going to grab another lid. These turned out fantastic. I will definitely be doing those again. They still have a nice crunch. They're not like too soft. So now these just get washed in the dishwasher. They're stainless steel. I'll remove the little silicone ring from them and put them on the top rack. And yeah, they'll get nice and clean and we'll be ready for the next thing. The crunch is so good. And the carrots maintain their crunch really well. Sweet. I'm excited those are done. My husband told me last night, he's like, I needed a midnight snack. So I came upstairs and I made a salad. I was like, oh, you made a salad? He's like, yes. It was avocado, sauerkraut, and the fermented jalapenos, like all mixed together. I was like, that actually sounds really yummy. The other night I was eating avocado just mashed up with like a bunch of the flaky Malden sea salt on it. And I was eating it with radishes. It was so delicious. I'd never thought to do that before, but I was like, produce, that sounds good. I have a recipe for a shredded radish fermented salad that I want to do, but I'm going to need to buy more radishes because I've been eating them. Did you guys know that radishes are really good for clearing mucus? Like super good for clearing mucus. That's why they put radishes in fire cider. So horseradish is great, but it doesn't have to be spicy horseradish. It could be any old cute little cherry radish. It could be whatever radish you have. And they use that in Amish communities as like a cough syrup. So they'll do radishes, onions, garlic, ginger, and they put it into a blender and blend it up and strain it. And you take that, mix it with honey and take it as a cough syrup, and it'll clear mucus like super well. How cool. Food is so amazing. How do we not know all of this stuff? Bought sardines today. First time I've tried a sardine. Kids and husband were grossed out. They taste like tuna. Yes. Mix them with some mayonnaise. Put some sauerkraut or some relish, like chop up some pickles. Put those in there. I love them with capers. They're super good with capers. Honestly, if you don't tell them what they are and just be like, here's a tuna sandwich, they will eat them. They taste just like tuna. If the kid will eat tuna, they will 100% eat sardines. They're totally fine. They're not as bad as people say they are. Okay, so I need to do my milk kefir. Hey kids, can you please go downstairs and grab me a jug of raw milk and a purple milk? I think this one's almost gone. What? You don't know where the remote is? Turn on the light so you can see. I'm going to put this away really quick. And I have my kefir over here. Yes, I had sardines on salad this morning for breakfast. Yay! That's so good. My kids like the sardines. They're here for it. They're not mad about it. And they eat the canned oysters. They like the canned oysters. My son was like, I want yellowtail. So he got some canned yellowtail from the grocery store today. And we'll just like randomly eat oysters. The lady at the store was like, do you cook them? Do you heat them up? And I was like, well, no, they're already cooked. And she told me that there is there's a whole community apparently on TikTok about canned fish, where they talk about sardines and oysters and like mackerel and all the canned fish and like different ways to prepare them. She's like, yeah, I'm in there. They're like doing crazy fancy stuff with them. Like, oh yeah, we just eat them with a fork out of the can. Like nothing fancy. Whoop. Opening the oven with my apron here. All right, I need jars. We've got to do a little jar for my daughter. Do a big jar. I've got some kefir cheese dripping. Check this out. My kefir grains are rip-roaring and ready to go. So this all here on the bottom, this is whey separation. So that means I have too many kefir grains in my jar. Same thing here. See how it's separated? That means that they ran out of food. When it splits into curds and whey, that means your grains have run out of food. So I need to get out my funnel. I need to get out a chopstick. I definitely have sauerkrauty garlic fingers, so I might want to wash my hands real quick. Hey, that doesn't excuse you from helping me. Please go and grab it. I don't care if your show isn't paused. The remote is right here. Right here. Thank you. Thank you, kiddos. All right. I need my thing. I need lids. Lids. Okay, this. Do you use a regular chopstick or do you buy a special one? It's just a regular old stolen from the pho restaurant chopstick. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just a basic Asian market chopstick. And I need my sieve. So this is just my preferred stirring device. You could use a spoon. You could use a wooden spoon. Use whatever you want. So there we go. That's kind of chunky. It's thick. And we're going to give it a nice stir to mix that whey back in. That'll help it strain easier. Just give it a nice little mix. And then I'll start pouring it into my strainer. Just a little bit at a time. And all you do is sit here and beat it. Did you try making your second ferment with the raw milk? Just wondering why you use store-bought. Oh, so the reason I don't use the raw milk for my second ferment is because the raw milk is very expensive. Like $15 a gallon. So if I had a cheap source of raw milk here, if I was paying $5 a gallon, I would use raw milk for everything. But since it's $15 a gallon, I conserve it just for my grains. And honestly, it has kind of a stronger flavor. And so I feel like adding the regular store-bought milk to it mellows that taste out, if that makes sense. It can be kind of, I don't know. It tastes like an onion patch if you do 100% raw milk, to me. It has a strong flavor. Go. The kefir grains love it, but yeah, it's not cheap. But I like it for like if the kids want to just drink milk, then they can drink the raw milk. And I like it for the kefir grains, so I still buy it, but it's $75 a month in raw milk. It's not cheap. Ode to live in somewhere like, I don't know, Oklahoma, where they have cheap raw milk. My sister-in-law and my best friend live in Missouri, and they get raw milk from a neighbor, and it's $5 a gallon. I'm so jealous. So jealous. That would be fantastic, but it is what it is. Someday I will live in the country. In fact, in 2 years, my friend who lives down the street and has a farm, her cows will be milking age. So, yes, I have noticed the raw milk has a stronger taste. Yeah. So, and it depends on the cow and what the cow is eating. So, I have a specific cow that I like. I tried both of her cows' milk in the beginning, and one of them I like better than the other, but I've kind of been slacking on my milk pickup timing, so I haven't been able to get the milk from the cow I like recently. So yeah, it's not my favorite, but it is what it is. And she doesn't label them anymore, so there's no way to like be sure that I get the one that I like, which kind of stinks, but that's okay. It's fine. Yeah, especially fermented. I don't know. I don't like the one cow's milk as much as I like the other one. So if you go to a place to get your raw milk and it's like a farmer, you might be able to pick and choose and like get the milk from a specific cow, but yeah, she's not accommodating me the way that she once was. All right, so I definitely have more than 2 tablespoons of grains here. Question is, I know some people want grains. Hey, Joy. Do I split off into another jar? Probably. Let me split off into a bigger jar, because I know if I just like eat these grains, someone tomorrow is going to be like, can you send me grains? And I have a lady who wants some. I'm going to send her some probably on Friday. So I'm just going to keep feeding them for now. And I'll just make a bunch of cheese or something like you do. All right. So 2 tablespoons thereabouts of grains are going back into my regular fermenting vessel. Okay. Oh, dog wants back in. Put that in there. And then I'm going to pop this extra teaspoon of grains into a new jar. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be extra grains in my other jar too. So we'll keep that handy so we can add those in. All right. Let me let the dog in real quick. Hello. Hello, puppy dog. Hello, puppy dog. Okay, we're going to do Natalie's kefir next. She's been enjoying having her own little miniature jar of kefir, so I've been fixing that for her. Yeah, it's very separated. It fermented fast. It must have been warmer in here than usual. I feel like it's going to be faster during the summer again. Over the summer, it was going really fast. Kefir grain droppings. Oh, the dog? Yeah. They like kefir grains. They will eat them. They like the kefir milk. The dogs like them. They're fans. Sometimes I'll give them kefir whey, but really the chickens like the kefir whey a lot more than the dogs do. The chickens will drink up the kefir whey fast. Oh, so I did something the other day. When I strained that kefir cheese, hey Todd, I poured that kefir cheese in and a bunch of like creamy stuff came out. I ended up pouring that into a jar like this, and I added half and half to it, and I used that to make a second ferment. So you can actually take the whey strained out of your kefir cheese and use it to make more kefir if you want. Just a hot tip there. Yeah, there was a lot of grains in there too. They are multiplying like crazy. Wowie, wowie. Very good, little guys. So productive. I feel like I need to send some out to Holly in California. I sent her the freeze-dried grains, and they're taking forever to grow. She needs more. She needs more. I need to ship her some fresh ones. Let's see here. I think I'm going to do a third jar and just have a cup in it. So the amount of milk you feed to your kefir second ferment changes how long it will ferment for. So if you have equal parts kefir to milk, it takes like 8 to 12 hours to second ferment and get thick and creamy. If you only have a cup of the kefir, it takes closer to 24 hours to ferment. It'll still ferment, it just takes longer. Yeah, I don't have a whole cup here because my jar wasn't quite that full. But I'm going to let this one sit until tomorrow night, and then I will probably make it into more kefir cheese. We've been eating a lot of the kefir cheese. It's really yummy as like a dip to have chips and stuff with it. So we've been doing a lot of that. Yeah, there's a solid 2.5 tablespoons in here. So I'm going to add these into this big jar. Get this out of the way. Ooh, that chicken's starting to smell really good. We're just going to flip those into there. Perfect. And we're going to feed the milk kefir. So can you let it sit without adding milk? If you let it sit without adding milk, it will get more and more fermented. So the reason I add more milk to it is to stretch my kefir supply, and so I don't have to keep a ton of grains on hand. Plus, I like the much milder flavor. I am sure your kids would like, 100% your kids would like kefir cheese. And it's super, super yummy with, if you make it with half and half, it makes it super rich and like creamy and thick. So to this jar, I'm going to do 3 cups of milk, since there's about 3 tablespoons in there. And then to my other jar, it is a 2-cupper. So I'll just fill that up. I think it's more like 2.5 cups, but see there? That's like $7 and it's like $7 in raw milk. Gone. So as much kefir as I drink, I have to be sparing with the raw milk. So these are the grains. These can get set aside. They'll be ready to do their thing tomorrow. And with the rest of this, I'm going to not waste any of the kefir on the counter. Fill these up with more milk. So like in comparison, I think I spend like $9 on a gallon and a half of this milk versus $14 for $15 for a gallon of the raw milk. So it's definitely much more cost effective. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to add a little bit more to this because it was a little less than a cup of kefir, and that'll help this ferment in the 24 hours. The kefir cheese is legit, like super, super delicious. It can replace sour cream. It can replace cream cheese. It can replace dip. Like you can make it into a ranch dip. I use it in, what's happening here? Oh, there's already a thing in there. I use it to make creamy salad dressings. So like ranch dressing. I use it for all sorts of stuff. $13.50 for a gallon and a half. So it's still a lot cheaper than, I don't know, it might be closer to 13. I will have to check. Last time I checked, it was like $9 or $10, but it's very possible that it's that much. All right. My kefir is done. Pro tip, always wash out your kefir strainer, your kefir jar, rinse it out immediately, because if it sits, it will get very crunchy. The raw milk you just bought at the store was $7.99. That's fantastic. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So these are ready to go. Hey neighbor, how are you? I'm just doing the kefir thing. One of these days I'm gonna have to hook you guys up with a jar of kefir to try. All right, we're gonna go put the milk in the fridge. All right. Sweet. Well, that was fun. What time is it? 7:26. My phone has got 30% battery life left. I got a new black apron. I'm gonna have my friend, she does embroidery. I'm gonna have her embroider my logo onto it. Yeah, for sure. Get you guys on that kefir thing. Let me... Oh, my chicken is sizzling. I'm gonna stick a thermometer in my chicken and see if it's ready. It's definitely sizzling in here. Let's pull this out. Let's pull this out. Juicy. I love this probe thermometer. What's kefir again? It's like a drinkable yogurt. It's very super powerful healing food full of probiotics and protein and nutrients. One of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. That's the stuff that completely changed. It changed my life. It changed got rid of my ADHD. Yeah, it's crazy. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Hey, Alyssa. What's up, homie? Oops, someone's texting me. Oh, my husband's heading home. Trade a package of pork. Oh, yeah. Trade pork for bread. Heck yeah. Need the bread by. My neighbor wants to trade some pork for bread. I'm here for that. Made a spatchcock roasted chicken tonight. Heck yeah, spatchcocking is cool. That's the make it cook a lot faster for sure. Let's see what my neighbor says about the bread. I might be making bread. How was my day? My day was good. It was good. It was chill. We had a nice, relaxing day. All right. He said, next time I bake. Sounds good. I'll let you know. Cool. I'm going to make some bread. One of my 3-year-olds today took a drink of my kefir and started guzzling it, drank most of it. He said, my body like it. That's so cute. You can't even be mad at that. You can't even be mad. You're like, okay, baby, you can have it. Gotta start making them their own. Did you end up getting the kefir cheese going for the party? Did it work? I've been thinking about that. I think I'll make bread tomorrow night. Yeah, I think I'll make bread tomorrow night. I have to find out when my client wants to talk, if she wants to do Tuesday night again. You're sad and happy at the same time. That's okay. Hey, catch you later. Have a good night. I'm getting off here in a little bit. I'm just chilling until my hubby gets home. Oh no, stupid strainer. Did you have lots of extra kefir then to eat for yourself? Love when that happens. Did you end up doing the whole gallon? My kid found these chili mangoes at the health food store today. They're delicious. I'm going to pull up a chair. Oh, I gotta go get them. It wasn't dark yet when I got on. Thank you for reminding me. Do I have a bread maker? I just have a mixer. Oh, I didn't do the gallon since it was weaker. Got an extra quart though? Yeah. It was stolen by the cutie. Making bread's your new favorite thing? Yes. You definitely don't need a bread maker. It's nice to have a mixer, but you don't even really need that. A lot of people make it just by hand. Just like stretch and fold. You don't have to do anything crazy. Yeah, making bread is so fun and it's so satisfying. You don't have to have a KitchenAid mixer, but if you have one, you can use it. I have a KitchenAid mixer. It can make 2 loaves at a time is where it maxes out. I also have a Bosch mixer, which I use for making a lot of bread. And that one I can make 4 loaves at a time. Yeah, you honestly start second fermenting it. I use the all-purpose, I'll show you. I just use the organic all-purpose flour from Costco. You just want to make sure that you use organic flour because all the other flour in the US is sprayed with crap. Yeah, see, I mean, that's why I started second fermenting my kefir. You want to be able to make kefir cheese, you have to second ferment if your grains aren't that big. Like you can't make kefir cheese on a prayer. You have to have the kefir to make the cheese. So, yeah. But you can use, I just figured out yesterday that you can take the whey when you strain the kefir cheese and use that to make more kefir. So I took the whey from that batch that I strained the other night and I just added half and half to fill it up the rest of the way and let that ferment for like 48 hours till it started to split. And I used that to make more kefir cheese. So you can absolutely utilize that whey to stretch your kefir supplies. Oop, drop my chopstick in the sink. And it worked really good. And get out my kefir from my cheese from last night. So this has been straining since this morning. So it's not done dripping. It's still pretty wet, but you could use this like a Greek yogurt at this stage of the game. I'm going to let it strain all the way through the night. And tomorrow morning, it'll be thick like cream cheese. And this one was made with half and half. Yeah, I mean, you can just throw it in smoothies, or you can use it to stretch your kefir. So like yesterday, I took this like milky kefir whey, and I poured it into a jar, and I added that half and half to it, and now I'm straining it out into more cheese. Ooh, you added a little whey to your homemade ranch? Heck yeah. And you can use kefir cheese in the homemade ranch in place of sour cream, or if you add that to it. So like for my homemade ranch, I do homemade mayonnaise, I do kefir cheese, and then it's dill, onion, parsley, garlic, salt, pepper, and a little bit of lemon juice. And it's super good. Super, super good. Put this back over here. I want to check on this kombucha that I second fermented with Melly the other night. Oh, this is the chai tea one. It's definitely doing the thing. It's bubbly. There's little floaties in there. Smells good. So this has just been 2 days, but sometimes it takes longer. It just depends on what you put in there. Ooh, the beef jerky was good. I have it right here. It reminds me of those dog treats that you could get at Costco in the like box of basically what they are. That's good. I would cut the salt down. She called for a tablespoon of salt. It was a little too strong. the microbes eat most of the caffeine out of it. So if you use white tea, there should be very little left. But it does have B vitamins, so that can be energizing. If this hotel had a wire rack, I'd be trying it today. Yeah. Yeah, it turned out really good. I'm going to sit here and eat this. I don't drink a ton of kombucha at night because it can have some caffeine, and the B vitamins can be a bit energizing. Yeah, the turkey's good. I like it. I did onion, paprika, garlic, salt, pepper. That was it. The outside cooked a lot faster, and so I ended up taking it out and like cutting the outside of it off and packaging that up, and then putting the middle back in so it could finish cooking. What hotel are you at? Oh, my husband's home.
Wait, what time is it?
7:30. Hubby's home, my hubby's home. This would be a killer snack though for like kids to take in their lunch.
Wait, we have something. That's plastic. Daddy.
It's part of the Hilton. But where are you though? Are you out of town? Are you on a trip? The turkey turned out really good. Yes, this is the one from the reel that I shared the other day. I shared it in my stories yesterday too. The original reel was by a lady. Yeah, Eat to Flourish. She posts a lot of like good toddler recipes. She said you could keep it on the counter for a week or refrigerate it for longer storage. So far it's out on the counter because I kind of assumed it would get eaten. Oh, it's just an hour from home. Oh, your siblings couldn't fit in the house. That's cool.
Me and Sushi got an idea the other day. 2 tickets for 1 chocolate chip.
2 tickets for 1 chocolate chip. You're crazy.
Am I?
That's way too expensive for 1 chocolate chip. Like 1 ticket for a handful of chocolate chips.
Okay. Can I do that?
If you want.
Okay.
Alright, you guys. My hubby's home. I'm gonna hop off of here so I can hang out with him. It's super good. The chicken is cooking. It's almost done.
Okay.
Within a week, my sisters, my dad, and my 2 older kids, my birthday party time. Hey! Good night, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, it's going to be fun. My birthday is next week, too. Night. Bye.